Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of our Custom Card Design Challenge. What I do is I propose a challenge to the people on our Discord, and then they design cards, and then we make content out of it. It's like,
judge them.
it's literally just like, I love doing things, I love seeing what people create, I love, judging people's work. It's, it makes you feel powerful and big for a few moments. Yeah, when normally I feel quite small. But let's dive in. We have, I think, like 13 cards today. The challenge for this episode was design a new trait for skill and design a card that showcases the mechanic of that trait. Some people have multiple skills for this one, just kind of like skills are simple, they're easy to grok, so people did a few. If you want to join for these, there's none going on currently right now by the time this video goes live, but join our Discord and you'll be able to join for future ones there.
Have you tried making the little window that you're in bigger while you're streaming?
For like, oh yeah, I have. Yeah, no, I do. At the end of each stream, I go really big, and I go fee, fi, fo, fum.
Doesn't help?
No, because I still feel the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. All right. Our first skill here is from Drakions, and this is the devoted trait for this one. So Greater Will is a skill. Devoted Blessed, if there's at least one Blessed token in the Chaos Bag. Greater Will can be committed from your hand to an investigator's test at any location and gains 3 wild. Mathematical Impossibility. Devoted, Blessed, Cursed. If there is at least 5 Blessed or 5 Cursed in the Chaos Bag and no Blessed or Cursed tokens revealed up to skill to your location, you may commit Mathematical Impossibility from your hand to that test. If you do, discover a clue at your location. And then the Oath was Paid, which is Cursed. If there are at least 6 Cursed tokens in the Chaos Bag, you may commit the Oath was Paid from your hand to a test you are performing. Do not reveal Chaos tokens for that test. No other cards may be committed to a test that the Oath was Paid is committed to.
It's kind of a neat mechanic.
Yeah.
I feel like Mathematical Impossibility should probably be an event and not a skill. That probably works from the rules, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, kind of like where's that that the new one that came out with Monterey Jack running away from the creature. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like bending the line between skill and event.
Yeah, Greater Will's a nice. I like the concept, and there's some like minor balancing issues. Greater Will should probably require more than one Blessed.
That's more than one Blessed,
to be able to commit to any location. Any investigators test any location.
Oh yeah, I thought there had to be one
location.
revealed in that test, and I was like, why? What's the point?
Yeah.
But it'd be neat for like over succeeding and stuff like that. But and the Oath was Paid is probably a little bit is definitely too good for zero experience.
Yeah, because like we look at it's kind of like an inverse. What's that rogue card? The Price is Paid or something like Price of
Justify the means.
Justify the means.
Yeah.
Some Price of Progress in my head. No, that's a different game.
That's a lot of damage.
Also, this is the first ever one of these videos where I actually haven't read any of these cards, so I actually can give like live thoughts as opposed to like already going through my thoughts previously. I agree. I think like the concept's really neat. It'd be interesting if like Greater Will was like if there was at least 1 Bless, you can commit for 1 wild, but if there was like 6 Blesses, it could commit for 3, right? Or like balance the numbers a bit.
Any investigator's testing location,
Yeah.
it gets 1 wild per Bless in the bag up to a maximum of 3 or something like that.
Yeah, like something like that. Like I think like to actually like have the devotion part of that come in.
I kind of like I think the devotion thing is like supposed to be a threshold that you reach, and not a scaling thing. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I think that's kind of the flavor there.
Yeah. I like the flavor of Mathematical Impossibility, right? I agree it kind of bends that line between event and skill, but I think these are all pretty cool cards. I like the concept for the trait.
Yeah.
Mathematical Impossibility is just Travis trying to explain to me why Sled Dog is bad.
Yeah.
Just like
no, honestly,
that's what that art is.
That's also Travis when you and I talked about the emergency cash scale, the water protection scale, the promise of power scale. Travis was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's worth 2 of that. It's worth 3 of that, but it doesn't equal 3.
All right, our next one we have here is from Astute Dunsparce. This is Fangled Find. This is the contrary trait. It's a 1 experience skill, commits for 3 books. Commit only to an investigation attempt. When you commit Fangled Find to a skill test, you may have it lose up to 2 of its printed icons. If the performing investigator's book equals X, this investigation is automatically successful. X is the shroud value of the investigated location. Okay, let me think for a second. So
this is neat, but I also think it's too good for 1 experience.
So like the idea is that
You commit to a test. It gives them at least +1,
yeah,
up to +3,
and if you match, so it's better for low book investigators. That's why it's like called contrary, right?
I think at like 1 it's fine, because it's not like X or less. It's like, or exactly the number.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
it's still an automatically successful test.
Oh
though.
yeah, sure. But like we've got to probably jump through some hoops here. Like maybe having a guardian spend one of their actions investigating to hit that. I think maybe 3 book icons might be a bit much.
I mean, that's not really a hoop, I don't think. But
yeah, it is. I don't want to spend my actions doing that. I want to spend them drawing cards to find my sled dog.
Well, no, it's a bonus when your guardian gets to just investigate. It's also practice, which is a big plus.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, like using it twice, getting twice to make use of them is really fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a practice makes perfect problem though.
No, it's a balancing around practice unless you're going to get rid of practice makes perfect problem.
Second card on the forbidden list?
Probably not.
No, it's yellow.
Yeah.
It's yellow.
No.
I'm just going to do Preston for fun.
Yeah.
You know, he is illicit.
Like...
So the contrary part of it, I guess, is that like you can... I kind of wish we had like 2 cards per thing, so...
If you can like gauge what it is. To me, the contrary is like, I think...
It's
also knowing
removing the icons, I
yeah,
think.
Yeah. For me, it's also knowing us to Dunsparce. It's like, I mean, like, I hate high book seekers. You know, like that also be part of it. I think it is. Yeah, it's like taking the things away from the skills,
Just
contrary to what
I
skills
would just
are.
play this in my secret deck to give it plus for the 3 book.
I know, right? Just
You don't have
That's
to-
kind of like the downside of it too, right? Like that. This is also just like
plus 3 book, man.
yeah, doesn't replace itself, but it is still just like
It's
3
plus
book
3 book,
icons.
and sometimes you get to like scum an investigation with one of the other investigators, right?
Yeah.
Or out of a high shroud location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the concept's neat.
This is like the best use of Goblin Locksmith's art that there's ever been.
Yeah.
It's been a lot better than Gone Locksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the losing skill icons part is kind of neat, but I'm not sure there's a ton of design space there.
Yeah.
I can see it maybe as like a
cycle
more. This is definitely like a thing that they would print a red investigator
Oh
for.
yeah.
And then
Immediately
watch-
abandoned.
Yeah,
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Where they're
gonna
like,
say- I
oh,
was
this
gonna
guy
say
cares
that, yeah.
about failing or whatever. If you can like add one, if there's for each skill card can into the test, you can succeed by 1 more or fail by one more or some shit like that.
Yeah. Or it's just like
And you can be like, oh, I'll commit this, and then I'll take away all the icons.
yeah. Or yeah, it's like some sort of stupid thing in a survivor investigator. Like the most niche thing, the survivor investigator who for each skill can remove an icon from it to gain some sort of benefit, and they're just like, put this in here, and you're like, okay, so I'm just not doing anything. All right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the concept's neat. I agree, though. I think I would have loved to see another contrary to go a bit deeper. But,
And see which part of it exactly is the...
Yeah. All right, next one we got here is from Akanos. This is the Reckless trait. So, break-in limits. It's a mystic skill that commits for 2 negative wild icons. Wow. Commit only to a skill test per on a spell asset. The skill icon subtract from your skill value instead of adding to it. If this skill test is successful, attempt that test again. After resolving the effects of the successful test. If it fails, discard the asset and take 1 horror. Frenzied is the Guardian one, also 1 experience. Also subtracts. If this skill test is successful, this attack deals +3 damage. If it fails, take 2 damage. And then Underdog is the Survivor one. Also subtracts 2. If you succeed, gain 1 action on your next turn, draw 1 card and gain 1 resource. If you fail, that encounter card gains search. So that one's only for fighting and only for encounter deck for each of those.
It's kind of neat.
It is neat. I think the Frenzied is probably like really damn good.
I
Like
think
+3 damage is
like
a hell of a
+3
drug.
is like maybe a little too much. Like
Yeah.
double vicious blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be like a 3
Okay.
experience skill.
Yeah.
I love the Survivor one. I think that one's like
The Survivor
really
one's cool.
Survivor feeling for the design too. Right.
I like the break-in limits one too, where
Yeah.
you get another use of all your spell assets. It's a neat way of doing that.
Yeah. I do like the artwork they picked for the Underdog. Like that's like very very like Call of Cthulhu
Yeah.
RPG. Like you get to the end and you're like, fucking, I got a broken knife.
Yeah, I guess it's time
A
to...
gun with one bullet.
Yeah.
So like, let's go.
That guy's failing the test.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If with like a design like Frenzied, if like the designer wants to keep the +3 damage, I think if you fail, you should take 4 damage just to like go nuts with it if you want to keep it. But I also think like just lowering the damage, or alternatively having this like be a little bit higher on experience would probably be pretty alright too. But
I think it's like not so fun if you make them take 4 damage, because either you're playing it when you're going to succeed and can auto succeed, or you're just not going to take the risk most of the time. So
I mean,
I think it would just be better at a higher experience.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, even like with this, as it's printed, I would only put this if I knew I was going to succeed anyway, right? Like, cause...
I mean, for 2 damage, like I would risk it maybe, depending on the situation. For 4 damage though, like so often that's just going to be so much more than the enemy would do too if you just pass all your actions, got attacked by it in the new phase. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this one either wants to be like +3 damage and take 3. Or like +2 and take 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I think it really wants to live in like that kind of a ballpark. I think like +2 is a very fair place to live because you're probably not committing this to like a naked fight.
It also feels like a
so you're doing like 4 damage.
It also matches brute force in terms of like the experience level and all that for it, right?
Like doing 3 damage with a caveat on a fight action is like where those things exist.
Yeah,
really.
I think the breaking limits one is also just like pretty good all around too. I think that one's it's very nice for its level.
I do kind of wish that these were like only you could commit them. You can't commit them to your skill tests.
Yeah,
I think
you can't make someone else reckless. Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, good luck, buddy. You know, like,
so it's just like, I'll take this fight action against these rats. I'm like 3-1. You're 1-1, baby.
They're dead as hell.
Yeah.
Or you are.
Yeah.
No.
You're gonna make it through one way.
But I think there's neat design space here with this too. Like I could see like an ally that's whenever you commit a reckless skill to a test, you get +1 skill value or something like that while it's in play.
Yeah.
There's some neat things you can do with it.
Yeah, super sick.
Build an archetype out of that.
So what exactly does this breaking limits actually do?
You get to, like, if you use a shriveling, you get to shrivel again without spending an action and without spending...
It just says that you attempt the test again.
After resolving the effects of the successful test.
Yeah, but, like, succeeding the test isn't, like, the part of the rules, I think, that make the thing happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the idiot. Anytime I think I know how this game's rules work, they're like, so grizzled and reminder text is that's a parley.
Oh, that one's on the FAQ. We don't need to worry about that. That doesn't exist yet. We can
the wording
head
from
in the
this
sand.
probably looked up live and learn and mirrored that.
Yeah, because like live and learn is definitely like well, that didn't work, like let's restart, you know.
Well, you're doing the test again. Maybe. You don't restart. It's not a time warp.
Yeah, it is.
So,
as long as you don't pay attention to the effects of failure.
Okay.
That's exactly that.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's just good advice in life, I guess. All right, next one we got here is from OT. So this is the hedged trait. So further beyond is a guardian skill with a sick ass Goku on it. You love to see it.
That doesn't look like he's hedging anything.
Commits for a fist, spirit and hedge. After revealing a chaos token for this test, take up to 3 damage. Further beyond gains fist for each damage taken this way. We got protected hand, a level 0 rogue one. It's a gambit. Commits for a foot and a wild. After revealing a chaos token for the skill test, you may spend 2 resources to return protected hand to your hand. And then the expert version, which is level 2, commits for wild. After revealing a chaos token for the skill test, you may spend 2 resources to return any number of cards committed to this test to their owner's hands. That
is
good.
Insane. That's a 5 experience card, man. That's insane.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
That's a...
Well, you think like you think it's a problem if like a rogue is like, I'm never going to spend actions moving again?
Probably it's a little bit.
You think that's a problem?
Probably just a skosh, just a little bit. I mean, I think like the level 0 one, it's like if you're doing it multiple times, you're probably gonna like run out of resources. But like in the right,
that's what you're spending your money
exactly right. Like that's like kind of like what your deck does.
Fair enough. Right?
Further beyond, I think it's a neat concept. I think there's a lot of investigators who could take advantage of it. I feel like it's a bit more red than it is Guardian because like the failure mitigation kind of feels a bit more Survivor to me. But the protected hand 2 is just like that's
Yeah.
that
So Travis, the hedged part of this further beyond is like the out of frame towards us piece that we don't see. That he's fighting like a 10-year-old who's like called him a stinky butthead or something, and he's just like, cool, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan and like annihilate this kid.
yeah.
That's not really hedging.
He's hedging his bets. He's making sure he won't lose. He won't lose this fight
Okay.
to a 10-year-old because that would be embarrassing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I do like the further beyond as a card design. The Goku art is a little out of place, but and level 0 protected hand is good. Level 2 protected hand is too good.
I'd love to play with it though because I,
think-
would just
yeah,
like, I would just roll the game.
So, like
that's never a good
level
sign.
2 protected hand does seem like
Well, yeah,
this would probably be 5 XP, and it'll probably get like
It removes itself from the game.
tabooed into oblivion because like seekers get to abuse it or some shit.
They would.
Well,
Trish would.
Like-
Yeah.
this just makes like any green investigator into Silas.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
And Silas pays 3 resources and an action for it.
Yeah, but Silas can suck it.
Silas can suck it, and he's really good at it too.
Yeah, it's those fish people.
Yeah,
That's why anyone stays in Innsmouth, really.
it's true. All right, next one we got here is from Arse Kicker 101. Double vicious blow. This is tandem blow. The trait is
Great art.
friendship. Commits for a wild.
Oh, that's
Commit
not
only
really
to a
good.
skill test and other investigators performing. If this skill test is successful during an attack, you may engage the attacked enemy. Then you may take a fight action as if it was your turn. They don't call us the Blowjob Brothers for nothing in the flavor text.
This should definitely be a practiced skill. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
All
it
the
should.
other blows are.
Yeah.
That's too good.
Yeah.
That's
And they've
too
clearly done this before.
Yes, they have a nickname for it, so
Yeah.
it's definitely practiced.
Good. Yeah.
I think this is pretty sick. I think like
It should. I think it could be like level 1, and then give you a fist in a wild.
yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean,
This feels like a little bit strong for a level 0 card.
I think that this friendship idea, I'm surprised there, like, because there should be more skills like leadership, right? That are like they get better when you are committing
Yeah.
to other people. I think I'd love
Yeah.
to see stuff like that.
And you know what would be a great trait name for it? Tandem.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, because that's what this one's called.
No, you could call this one Friendship Blowgren.
Yeah. Let's go. We're just two dudes
Just swap
blowing
'em.
dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, just
two friends.
Just two
blowing
friends.
dudes.
Yeah. Blowing dudes. Yeah. I think that's just. I think it's nice.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's a nice little design.
Yeah. Because it also like it promotes, like fighting as a team, right? It's
With
great.
Flexes, we like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
we've definitely just included like 6 vicious blows in our deck and been like, that's
We're a team.
team.
Yeah. It's
So-
true. We're very simple.
Like I mean, it worked.
It did work. It's probably one of the strongest campaigns we ever had. Yeah.
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. All right. Next one here is from Cameron D. This is the supportive trait. So, another set of eyes. This is a neutral, an innate supportive skill. Commits for 2 books. If this test is successful and another set of eyes is committed to a skill test being performed by another investigator, the investigator draws a card. Oh, so this is just like friendship.
Kind of.
Kind of. Dream interpretation. Commits for a brain. This is 1 experience. Practiced. Supportive. If this test is successful and dream interpretation is committed to a skill test being performed by another investigator, the investigator searches the top 9 cards of his or her deck for a spell or ritual card and draws it and shuffle his or her deck. And then getaway driving. Oh, I like the art for that one. This is a practice as well. Commits for a foot. If this test is successful and getaway driving is committed to a skill test being performed by another investigator, that investigator may immediately move to a connecting location up to twice.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I like them. Another set of eyes is just like perception. Yeah.
Perception for someone
Else.
else.
Yeah. And getaway driving is like nimble, but for like someone else. And dream interpretation is tutoring for someone else.
Yeah, I mean, the getaway driving does seem sweet for like a Leo Anderson deck. You're like, somebody needs to evade this and I'm shit at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Also, I'm playing blue, so like, I'm gonna move when you do,
Yeah, I'm coming with.
because
You're driving. I'm in
Yeah.
the passenger seat. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some nice little, simple, clean designs.
I think they're
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely.
The innate and practice traits are spot on for what they are. Dream interpretation is like a little narrow, but it's whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I
'cause-
shouldn't search for rituals because that's something that apparently we're not allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it's because they're too strong.
I mean, they are.
yeah, they are pretty
That's
good.
kind of like the rituals are basically spells they don't want you to find with arcane and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sick. Nice. All right. Next up, we got from Eagle Eye 362. This is the Portent trait. Prognostication. This is a mystic skill that commits for a brain. After the skill test resolves, place prognostication in your play area. While in your play area, prognostication gains wild. Forced when you begin the round with prognostication in your play area, commit to the first skill test you make this round, then discard it. Yeah.
and that's another one I wish we had more than one card so we could see what the actual mechanic was. Is it the
I imagine it's the putting it into play and then like using it on your first thing,
I mean, yeah. I
because
guess.
that's like what it does.
So this would just be a cycle of like 5 cards, one for each skill, and
No,
then
they're all purple.
and then the
Yeah,
red
I'm
one
sure-
gives you like -1 skill icon, and then gives you 2 wild or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like just like on the tin where this would go in, because it's kind of like surprising find, right? Like it's kind of like similar to that kind of space for it.
Mm.
I mean, I like the idea of like skills that are like lower value but trigger twice, right? I think that's a neat kind of design space. But yeah, I agree. I'd love to see another one of these to kind of see a bit deeper to what Eagle Eye was thinking. I think it's fine though. I think the design is neat.
Should probably like go your play area if you succeed, but
Probably, yeah.
so just throw it at anything.
Sick.
Get around. Okay.
All right. Next up, we got from Okri. This is Charge. This is the Inflexible trait. This is a Guardian skill, level 0. It's also innate. Commit this only to a fight test you're performing with no other cards committed. You cannot commit any other cards to this test. If you succeed, move to a connecting location.
It's a pretty fine design, I think.
It's
Need to give a little bit of
it's kind of like keywording the text, right? Like but like you could design around Inflexible in other ways to like, you know, work with it and like with an ally through that. But it's kind of like keywording that text on it. I do like it as well that I imagine with Inflexible, the cards themselves are even more inflexible because it's like you have to do it only for a specific type of test. It's not just you can do for anything.
yeah. You also have to move.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
you
I
have to.
I mean, I guess why would you commit most of the time if you're not the situations where you want to commit this as your only card with the +1 punch you don't want to move are going to be very tiny.
Yeah.
Take that, Silas.
I mean, like, yeah, because like you could also like move and fight an enemy with it, which was we kind of learnt from the Runic Axe. Even though this is much less gooder than that, moving while fighting is a way to like, you know, it's a good compression that can
Yeah.
come with that. So I could see wanting to run this too as printed.
Yeah, it's like fine.
Yeah.
It's a good level 0 card.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see whether it would be across all the colors or it would be like a blue only mechanic, a guardian only mechanic.
Yeah.
So it does feel kind of guardian-y in that like a lot of the roles that their characters play and being law enforcement officers or
Yeah.
you know, people who have
Reformed cultists
Yeah.
or
Or like
people who have like other strong sort of attachments or morals or codes. Like
Yeah.
Sister Mary's a nun. Zoe is like believes
Zoe
in
is
God.
like a chef,
Well, not just her job. I mean, she
which
like
I suppose
she does,
is like inflexible in the idea that I'll cut you if you
she
touch my
believes
fucking knives.
she believes she's in service to God. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because I couldn't imagine a rogue having an inflexible card.
Like that's what her whole weakness is God's like, you gotta go kill that, and she's like, okay.
That's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
you
a
got
boy.
it.
Yep.
No, I think it's pretty alright. It's not like entirely different to like bold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, similar sort of flavor, but
Yeah.
different execution.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Sweet. All right. Next we got here from Tech Oatmeal. This is the Contingency trait. Plan B is a survivor skill that comes for a wild. If this skill test succeeds by 1 or less, draw a card, then automatically evade an enemy or location. If this skill test fails by exactly 1, automatically evade an enemy or location. It does not ready during the next upkeep phase. Nuance Spell Weaving is the Mystic one. This is a level 1. Commits for a wild. Can only be committed to a test from a spell or ritual event and or asset. If this test succeeds by 2 or less, draw and heal 1 horror. If this test fails by exactly 1, after this test ends, you may take an additional action to play a spell from your hand, reducing its cost by 2. And then we got Heroic Aid. This is a Guardian level 0, commits for a wild. If this skill test succeeds by 1 or less, draw a card and heal 1 damage from an ally or investigator location. If this skill test fails by exactly 1 before applying the result of the test, you may return an ally or item asset to your hand, then gain 1 resource at the end of this test.
I'm pretty sure Plan B isn't for children that are that old.
oh man, here I was gonna avoid making a joke about that.
Nah.
Um,
It's just, you call up the old wizard guy. With his barbed wire cage.
Yeah.
you know,
kids
that,
be
sound,
full
that
of
sounds right. That sounds right.
Seems by one last draw card automatically.
I think this feels much more like it should be on red cards
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
like not on other cards. But that being said, I think like if these are mostly like if these were red cards, all of them, they wouldn't feel particularly out of place.
Yeah, I like I think of these ones, the Plan B or alternative barbed wire wizard.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that kind of like resonate with me the most. I like it. I think it synergizes obviously with survivors.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate seeing this design in other classes to go with it, but I think the survivor one is the one that like hits the most for
Yeah,
me.
another archetype that gets like. If you get 4 cards, they're kind of okay.
Yeah. But this one works with Granny Orange, so already it does better than some of the other ones we've seen. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one would probably it'd be a neat mechanic if it showed up with a couple cards to support it.
Yeah.
Because succeeding by or failing by exactly 1 with the card pool we have now is a little bit tough to do, especially like the test that you commit a card to. So. Yeah, I could also see like a handful of these being a non-red color. I could see
Yeah.
them maybe being in like purple or yellow.
I think Seeker works because they have that steady
They're like-
handed
they're-
card that they could also
Yeah, they're like
use.
planning ahead for things
Yeah.
flairfully, and you know, purple maybe you have a plan if your ritual goes awry.
No.
I can see the flavor in all the classes, I guess, a little
Have you
bit, but
talked to Carl
mechanically it's
Sanford?
definitely red.
Yeah.
Carl Sanford's like the most purple character I know. And his contingency plan for the ritual going awry is like, guys, we're fucked. You guys are all gonna die, and I'm gonna leave.
I guess what going with what you're saying, Travis, it could also like the idea of contingency could change depending on the class too, right? Like
Yeah, like the mystic ones could be if you like don't draw a symbol, and then if you do draw a symbol, or like if you draw a bless, if you draw a curse. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's neat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. From Dare BK, we got the paired trait. So this is swindle practiced. They're all practiced. They're all
That's
practiced.
1 per deck.
They 1 experience, and they all commit for a while. We can get that right off the bat. The rogue one is if this is successful, gain 2 resources, then shuffle swindle back into your deck. As a reaction after committing swindle from your hand, search your deck for a paired skill card and commit it to this test if able. If you do, and if this test is successful, gain an additional 2 resources and remove both skill from the games instead of shuffling them back. Loaded and ready. is if this test is successful, and add 1 ammo to an asset you control, then shuffle load in and ready back into your deck. As a reaction, after committing load in and ready from your hand, search your deck for a paired skill card and commit it to this test if able. If you do, and if this test is successful, add 1 additional ammo and remove both skills from the game. And then we have Sift, which is the Seeker one. If this test is successful, draw 1 card, then shuffle Sift back into your deck. As a reaction, after committing it from your hand, search your deck for a paired skill card and commit it to this test if able. If you do, and if this test is successful, draw 1 additional card and remove both skills from the game.
This guy's smart.
Because there's a safety knob on it.
Yeah.
They actually also that, but also you only get to do the reaction if you commit it from your hand, so the second one doesn't trigger a
That's what I
cascade.
mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't just get to chain them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
you can't practice makes perfect them either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can, but you just get like a wild
Yeah, you do get like the top
and put it
effect.
back in
That's
your
fair.
hand or whatever.
Yeah. No, I do like this this cycle. I can see one of every in every color, and then a level 1 neutral one. That just I don't know. You get 2 or something like that. 2 wild.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish they were like wild, and then there's like one symbol, like Wild Foot, and then Wild Punch, and Wild Book to encourage you to use them for those things. Maybe you do things you wouldn't otherwise normally commit them to, or your character isn't otherwise doing. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Nice design.
I don't have much to say. I just think they're all like. I think it's neat. I think it's nice, and I like what they all do. I like the ammo on the Guardian one. The Seeker one I think is like perfectly fine for it too, and Swindle is also good. I think they're all really nice.
I think my only real complaint about it is there isn't a ton of design space. This feels like you design one, like I say, you design one for each class, maybe a neutral one, and then it's kind of it. Because otherwise, if you can load your deck with these and then do them almost every time, then it's tough.
And like, I mean, like realistically, most of the time you like, I'm to bounce off what you were saying, Travis. I think if these were like 2 experience and had 2 icons, I think they'd be in a better place.
Yeah.
Because I think most of the time these aren't going to actually be used to do anything but just like make your deck smaller in the Seeker class to cycle through it quicker. Like that's what it's going to end up being most of the time with these kind of things anyway. So I think just having them be a little bit more premium on that for the experience, and then the extra icon is.
You mean the yellow one?
Yes, the yellow one, and then whatever other one you can run.
The yellow one, and then drawing you 2 cards and removing 2 cards from your deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so that's kind of the thing. I think there was a bit more, especially because you only have to buy 1 of them, right? So.
Yeah, 2 experience is probably pretty fine.
Yeah, I think it's a neat cycle though. All right. On to Beard. This is Cosmic Conduit from the Ordeal trait.
Why
This
is everything practiced?
Because people, they know you're in the video. They're doing it for you. Cosmic Conduit is commits for 3 wild. It's a level 0 mystic skill. It's practice and Ordeal. If this test is successful, attach Cosmic Conduit to your investigator card instead of discarding it. While Cosmic Conduit is attached to your investigator card, you get -1 health and -1 sanity. At the end of the round, if Cosmic Conduit is attached to your investigator card, discard it.
That's a neat mechanic.
It's like a...
As long as they're not all -1 health and -1 sanity, and there's a variety of things, I think that that could be quite neat.
Yep. Yeah.
You have a green one that like commits for a bunch or something like that, and then you have to like put money on it or something like that until your next you pay money, I guess, to get that many wild icons or something like that for a test, and then to a maximum of 5 or whatever, and then you get them back at the end of the next round or something like that. Start of the next investigator phase, along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like, I mean, actually, what I would love to see these two is if the Ordeal was longer. So, like with that Rogue one, you could put a bunch of resources in, but then it's like when the agenda advances, right? And it's like locked away for a while.
You have a Guardian one that like gives you damage now, and then at the end of the next round or something like that, you take a damage.
Yeah, I think the design space for this actually can be pretty cool.
Yeah,
because like just changing the windows.
It'd be really neat for like niche play, like a Seeker one that gets you an extra clue, but then, you know, next turn you have to put 2 clues in your location or something like that. So it's only really good if you're playing. It's neat for clue drop. Also, it's only really good if you're going to spend those clues for something. And
Yeah, you'd love it to see stuff that like until like you get attacked by an enemy, enemies have like prey you only, and like like they hunt you down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun to see stuff that is kind of with that. I think it's neat.
That would be really strong.
It would be very strong, yeah.
Insane.
Sweet. All right. Next one we got from Kiolutu.
Your icons are in the wrong order.
We have Bushcraft. This is the imperative trait. Commits for a wild, a brain, and a foot. You may commit Bushcraft to a skill test performed by an investigator in another location if there is a treachery in that investigator's play area or attached to their current location. If the skill test is successful, the performing investigator may put a card from the encounter discard on top of the encounter deck. Interesting. So I imagine, because we're only seeing one again for this one, I imagine it's the committing if it's like treachery adjacent.
I hope it's not putting the stuff from the discard pile on top of the encounter deck.
I hope not either, because I think like the requiring like treacheries is neat.
I do think that this is again a little bit strong for level 0 cards, probably a level 2-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to manipulate the encounter deck like that is really good.
Yeah.
But it's a neat design.
Yeah.
It does feel like a red card. That's good.
Yeah.
It is kind of neat that you... Yeah, I guess you can do it at a location, okay.
But you also can just like commit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no matter what. Interesting. Yeah, so then that's even more reason why I should also like, go
I kind of wish you like
too.
only got the bomb effect if you commit it to another location, another investigator's test or something like that.
Yeah.
Or another location.
Yeah.
Like it's fine if you can still commit it for the brain. Wild foot, but
no, the wild brain foot.
Wild brain foot, yeah. But it's a little bit odd that you can just is a bonus to the card, not really a mechanic. I think.
Yeah, I think that would make the
as it stands right now
keyword feel a bit more like locked into, right?
Yeah.
I think the concept's neat though. I like the idea of treacheries that you can help from anywhere, kind of like the not like Alter Fate, but like in that same kind of vein, right? Where like you can like support your team from anywhere as a survivor, which I think with treacheries kind of fits in their thing already. I think that's neat.
Yeah, somebody draws their rotting remains and they're like, "Oh God, that's gross," and you're like, "No, it's not."
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
All right, I think we have one more. I think this is our last one from Deuterium.
Great art.
This is the instructive trait. All right. Feeling Him Out is a level 0 guardian card, commits for a fist and a foot. While Feeling Him Out is in your play area, you can commit it to eligible skill tests you perform. Feeling Him Out gains fist foot if played from your play area, and fist foot for every copy of Feeling Him Out in your play area. If Feeling Him Out was committed from your hand, add it to your play area if the test resolves, otherwise discard it. So that's going to be the mechanic through this. For athletic demonstration, same things. It goes into your play. What? Did not begin in your deck? What the frick? All right, commit only. So it is different. So I actually read it from the top to bottom. So athletic demonstration commits for 2 foot. Commit only to a skill test you're performing. If the test is successful, you may give athletic demonstration to another investigator location instead of discarding it. Okay. When athletic demonstration would be discarded, if athletic demonstration not begin in your deck, place it in its owner's discard pile. Okay.
So you give it to someone else, and then it didn't begin in your deck.
Yeah, and then
it goes to their discard.
And then a lesson in resilience is a 2 experience mystic skill for 2 brain. This test is performed with a base skill value equal to your brain. If lesson in resilience is not being in your deck, it can only be committed to skill tests you are performing. If a lesson in resilience is committed to a skill test being performed by another investigator and this test is successful, gain 2 resources and add a lesson in resilience to the investigator's hand instead of discarding it. If this test fails, resolve all effects of this test as if you performed the test. Okay, I read it out loud. Sometimes when I read it out loud, I don't comprehend it when there's a lot of text. So I'm going to read it again quietly in my head.
That's a blue card. Yeah. That's not a purple card.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like more of a blue card.
Yeah, even the brain thing is like tangentially in blue. You get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Giving them resources and like taking the test for the damage or whatever for someone else is blue.
Yeah.
But it is a neat design.
I love athletic demonstration, and I also kind of I like feeling them out. The purple one's a bit, it's a bit much for me. It feels like a leadership, like
Yeah.
adjacent, right? So like that's for a lot of techs to kind of do a very similar thing with like leadership and self-sacrifice. But I love feeling them out the athletic demonstration. Those are fun cards, and I think they're pretty neat too. And I do appreciate the designs all being like you can see how like the keyword is more than just like I thought it was all going to be like feeling them out, but they're different. It's neat. It's really neat.
No, that's some good design there.
Yeah.
They'll seem appropriate for their experience cost. May have less resilience, maybe a little bit weak for 2 experience, but
I mean, like the test is performed with a scale value equal to your brain, so you can just like throw this at somebody else's thing. They're like, I can't possibly pass the punch test, and you're like, sweet, so here's 7. Like your number is 7.
So this is equal to your brain.
I guess you can't throw it at not a brain test, but that's a problem for somebody else.
Yeah, like so you get to give someone else your brain for the first test,
Mm-hmm.
plus 2, and then they get it.
Yeah, and then it's just guts, right?
Yeah, it's just a free
And if
guts.
they are successful, then you gain 2 resources, and it goes to their hand. And I don't. Can you put cards into other? I guess you can. Can you put cards from your deck into other investigators' hands?
I mean, you could.
You can put like bonded cards into their hand.
If I mean, like if this was a mechanic, then yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
But like Vincent does it. So that's I think.
well, that's a bonded card though.
Yeah, so I think I imagine that
Like
right now I wager no, you can't. But assuming you could, yeah, this would work like that.
Investigator's hand. I don't know why it goes through hand and not just like
Yeah, I mean, it could. It
into
could. They
play
could all
like
work.
the other
Yeah, they
ones.
could work like it could go onto the
Just-
player
yeah,
and
just
then
be like in your play area, commit them. Yeah, commit them from there.
yeah.
And this doesn't really do.
Still going through a lesson in resilience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is a
One
miss
thing
for
what you
me.
can do, you can like, so you're the mystic. You commit someone, they get 7 for their test or whatever, and then you can just like pass it back and forth.
Yeah, because this one doesn't remove like athletic demonstration, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like that one doesn't exist probably. The other 2 look nice.
Yeah.
It's a good mechanic.
Yeah. All right, I think that's it. So I'm gonna go through, but for people watching at home, we actually have our own thing now. Wow.
We're represented. We earned it.
So we'll go back to the top, and we can kind of just go through, and we'll go get all that. So this was our first one from Drakians, the devoted trait.
Okay.
We had the contrary from Astute Dunsparce. We had the reckless from Akanos. Just gonna take a second on this one. I remember enjoying this one. It's so weird doing this live. How did you guys do this?
I mean,
I had mine already logged in before. Hedged from OT.
like, what do you mean you can't just sit down and evaluate how well designed and how playable 40 cards are?
Friendship from Arse Kicker. We had supportive from Cameron D. Eagle Eye with Portent. Okri with Orcry with Inflexible. We have Contingency from Tech Oatmeal. Paired from Dare BK. Beard's Ordeal. Kilutu's Imperative. And then we have Deuterium's Instructive. All right.
I like the paired one. I think that one seems like the most. Like, I hesitate to use the term real,
big.
but
It does. It's easy to imagine them
yeah,
printing
like
something like that.
that, like pretty straightforward to grok as well. Like, card has paired, sweet. All of them do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that one
Like,
is
the
really
through line
nice.
is very easy for me, which is good because I'm stupid. I think Sled Dog is a good card. That's how you know.
Do you have any thoughts, Travis?
Yeah, I have like two I kind of like, but I'm waiting for you to pick one so we don't
okay.
give it the same one.
Oh, okay.
Because I know I have a second option.
I think I'm gonna go with the imperative ones. I really like them. I really like this card. I think this card's really fun. It tells a good story, and I think this one's pretty solid. Again, like Travis, I'm ignoring the last one because I think the last one kind of throws it for a loop a little bit, but I really like the first two a lot.
The title, Lesson in Resilience, is like pretty okay. Like if it was a blue card, you know, you show up and you're playing the game and they're like, oh, I hurt my knee, and you're like, shut up and help me get my intestines back in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I am going to pick then. If you mouse up a little bit and then up one more, and then to the right so that they're all green.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah, I like the supportive one a lot. The Ordeal is a close second for me.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of neat design space there, but the supportive keyword is the designs are all nice and clean. They feel natural. There's something I can see them printing. Supportive is I think fits really nicely into what they've been looking at in how traits generally are, where they're not always a set archetype. But something that could be scattered and interacted with other cards, like innate or practiced. They're just kind of there to describe what the skill's doing. Like you don't have to print support to make supportive good. You can just print cards that have supportive on them, and then later give them little bonuses if you want.
Yeah. Sick. All right. Very nice job, everyone. Our next one, which should be coming up in a month on YouTube, they've already finished it on the channel, but it's to design a card with both the Miskatonic and Illicit trait. So expect a lot of Seeker and Rogue cards coming our way. So that should be the next one.
just like tenured professors, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no
they show up
doubt.
And they're like, what?
Yeah. No, there was...
Fire me? You can't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to drink this NyQuil instead of delivering whatever
Lesson I'm supposed to be doing, yeah.
I got some crazy sinus pressure today. Yeah.
So congrats to our winners. Thank you so much for this. We'll see you guys all for the next one. Again, if you want to join for more of these, you can do so by joining our Discord, which you can find a link down in the video description. Huge thank you to all of our patrons as well. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. And as always, a GG's.